This year marks the 20th anniversary since the first Pokemon games were released in Japan, and being a Pokemon fan my whole life, I figured I'd contribute in some form to the celebration. Players have spent 2 decades running around the numerous regions of the series, the very first of course being the Kanto region. With the digital re-release of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow this week, it's time to relearn the geography of Kanto, what makes it special, fun facts, and that sort of thing, if you don't already know. In the Pokemon games, the Kanto region is surrounded by a massive mountain range to the west and an ocean to the south and east. A large bay cuts into the region. The climate and biome of the region as a whole isn't consistent between generations. With each passing generation, it's depicted with much more foliage. Based off the real-life region in Japan containing the cities of Tokyo and Yokohama, it too is based around the coast and has a large peninsula stretching westward from the south. The size of the region is never truly disclosed, neither is the population. It's safe to assume the region is small due to the few buildings that do exist and the amount of time it takes to travel across the region. Even though in the series it takes Ash like 12 episodes to walk 5 miles, it's never said whether Kanto is supposed to be a full nation or a small area of a much larger region, as Johto is located directly next to it. The equivalent to Tokyo in the game is Safron City. It's one of the most populated cities in Kanto and is the home of Silphco. The city also is the location of the magnet train which connects Kanto to Johto. Saffron is named after the tip of a saffron crocus thread, which comes from the spice, also named saffron. Next up, we take a look at Cerulean City. Specialized for its water-type gym, it is conveniently located nowhere near the ocean. It does have a river to the north that separates it from Cerulean Cave, which houses Mewtwo. The bike shop, which makes an appearance in every game, is here, and the bike can be bought for either $1 million or a voucher. Funny enough, you can't actually obtain $1 million in the game, as 999,999 is the max. We have the notorious Lavender Town, which plays the infamous spooky thing when you enter the city limits. Lavender is the closest city to the eastern coast, and while it's so close to the coast, no water is in sight when you're in the city itself. The most notable feature of Lavender is Pokemon Tower, where spirits of dead Pokemon haunt the location. Other than this, it's one of the smallest towns in the game, having no notable houses and just 3 buildings that are not the standard Pokemart and Pokemon Center. Lavender is named after the shade of purple, of which originates from the flower. Viridian City is the eternal green paradise, and as such is the most heavily forested city. According to the map description, the city is green all year round, so it's safe to assume the climate is one of the more warmer parts of the region. Also, you guessed it, it's where the name comes from. The gym is the final gym you face, even though the city is so close to where you start the game. The gym leader is Team Rocket boss Giovanni in red, blue, and green, and your rival from the first games in gold and silver. The city is also where you can encounter the Old Man, who is famous for being used to find Missingno, the glitch Pokemon, using the Old Man glitch. At the southern tip of the peninsula, we have Fuchsia City, the city near the real-world location of Chiba Prefecture in Japan. The climate of Chiba is subtropical. The city in-game is really only notable for the Safari Zone. The name comes from a tint of reddish purple, which also comes from, surprise, a plant. Vermillion City is located on the unnamed bay in South Kanto. It's identifiable by its heavy emphasis on fishing and boats, not to mention the SS Anne, which is a luxury cruise liner that docks at Vermillion Harbor. In the Johto remakes, the SS Aqua replaces the ferry, and it allows travel from Kanto to Johto. The most northerly city in all of Kanto is Pewter City, located near the unnamed mountain range in all directions. The city houses the Pewter Museum of Science, which can turn fossils back into Pokemon. The city itself is located farther away from any body of water than any other Kanto city, and is possibly the most isolated city in the entire region. Being such a cold mountain town, its name is quite fitting, as pewter is a metal alloy consisting of mostly tin. Celadon City is located in the heart of Kanto, and is easily the most populated city. Named after Celadon, a color of light green often used in pottery, it houses the Celadon department store and the Celadon condominium, making the city the hub for all commercial trade. The only casino in the region is here at the Celadon Game Corner, also happens to be the front for Team Rocket's base. Tell no one. The furthest south is Cinnabar Island. Named after a bright red ore used for refining mercury, the island once housed the most technologically advanced area in Kanto, and is hinted that Mewtwo was created here. In the first games, there is a gym and a somewhat thriving town, but by later games it's revealed the city was destroyed by a volcano. The smallest town in all of Kanto is Pallet Town, which is only important to players because it's your hometown, you self-centered little pricks. It is said to have been based on Mashita, Japan, which is the hometown of Satoshi Tajiri. However, Mashita is anything but a small town, with a population of over 420,000 and a massively dense population total over 15,000 per square mile. At any rate, it's located at the tip of a peninsula, and one of the few cities where the ocean is easily accessible by the player without winding paths. The town is named after a color palette, because it ties everything together. Overall, the Kanto region is undeniably one of the most popular regions in the games, and has a large amount of diversity, from mountain ranges to oceans, caves to plains. The region emulates the geography that would be found in a nation. The region is regardless an interesting piece of geography, even if it runs on hardware made in 1989. This is Cody of Geography Hub.